Velvet Room, a space for an open conversation about Black love, marriage, religion, and generational wealth. Sit back and relax and be prepared for a real discussion and open conversation. Like and subscribe.
What's up? How you doing?
What's going on?
Hey. Hey, y'all.
It's been a minute since I've seen some of your faces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey. Shinwei,
Hey.
you are quick.
Who is that?
You are quick.
You got it together. She's like, bam, I'm here.
Like I just talked to her 30 minutes ago. She was out like a light. Oh, no, she did it.
What's up,
She
Bia?
did it.
Bia.
Jimmy!
How you doing? How you
What's
doing?
going on?
I ain't gonna say that on air. He not right.
I'm trying to call you out.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. Like about 3 weeks maybe?
Yeah.
I'm in the ballpark.
Jimmy look like he about to get baptized.
Underneath that water, right? Over that
Yeah.
water.
He just,
It's
in case he
beautiful,
gets
though.
tired, he just gonna dip his hand.
I'm about to.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Devil, not today, devil. Oh, that hurt. Did y'all hear that voice?
That's what we blaming it on.
That's what we blaming it on.
He had
The
to
aircraft flying over.
You know us black folks, we blame everything on the devil.
On the devil.
Shoestrings untied. I cast out these demons.
I cast him out.
I'm telling you. Well, that the devil is busy.
Oh no!
No, you're gonna have to take that headphone off.
Yeah,
Anthony,
Yeah.
we can't hear you,
You're
Anthony.
gonna have to take that headphone off.
it sounds like the white noise. Y'all not hearing voices? I'm sorry.
And then he be trying to act like it's not his stuff.
It might be the way.
Whatever you did when you came on, it messed everything up.
He did one of these numbers. That was it.
Oh, I'm so mad. He looks so focused. He looks so engineering-ish. He looks like
He's
a
trying to keep from
broadcaster.
taking them.
Look,
He's trying to keep from taking them off.
Everything was beautiful.
So the
But
show
the
must
devil-
go on. What's going on, everybody?
No.
What y'all do this weekend?
What's happening?
Rest. I rested. After 2 weeks back to back of celebrating gatherings, it was time to rest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right.
I had to share some footage with you guys. I ended up doing a couple of weeks back. We ended up doing an insight show that we were bringing back. It was in Greenville, live recording, and it's taking me up to now to finish that thing. I forgot how much time it takes to put stuff together.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
my weekends have been tied up just home, but busy. Don't take it off. Take it off. Unplug the microphone and all. You're gonna come back and try it again, though.
Yeah.
Just take this off and talk through like just.
Yeah. Take off the mask.
Take off the mask. Take off.
But Happy New Year, y'all.
Yes,
Happy
Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year.
And I normally don't
New Year, same me.
I'm not
Do
even.
y'all have any New Year's resolutions?
I was about to say I won't even doing no New Year's resolutions. I'm just like made a list of stuff that I want to do for the year.
I do my stuff all year round.
So
Yeah.
I told you what I say. He gonna come back with that headphone and mic.
You prophesied.
But I understand why some people do.
Yeah, I
that.
definitely
They
do
need
mine
a
year
boost.
round.
They need a boost to do.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Did you guys catch that on the news though? There was a gym that said we're not signing anybody up January 1st. If you come up here January 1st, we're not signing you up. We don't need nobody coming up here for 3 or 4 days or a week, and you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's for them.
Right.
They can stand.
That's crazy. You turning away money?
But it's genius.
Not turning away the
They
money.
got a lot. They got a lot of news and publicity about it.
Yeah, basically what they saying, don't go in there all in people's way. You ain't been here all year.
I mean, but all they got to do is wait their turn. It ain't that serious.
Well, they were trying
But
to
you,
say
you
they
know,
want you to
Mr.
be
Workout
serious.
2023 had to have something to say.
The what?
Brother Dawson, you know he had to have something to say.
Oh no, I read that on
Workout
Facebook.
2023.
No, I read that on Facebook. Somebody put that on Facebook.
Mr. All Sport. Mr. All Sport, you know. Come on.
What's up, my brother? What's up,
Mike
man?
check, you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Great,
yeah.
great.
You don't hear all the noise.
I'm gonna treat you like the cops.
Thank you.
Like the cops. I want your
Thank you
hands
for
right
getting
here.
together.
Anytime.
The whole show.
All right, you guys. So, been a while since seeing you guys, but today we got an interesting topic. It's about mental health in men, and right now there's a lot in the media, I think, going on. We've been hearing more and more of it lately. But before we get into that, let's get into what's going on in the news. In 1 second.
And now it's time for the news. Hot topics. Hot topics.
Oh, that's so sick. Oh my goodness. Hey, this is your boy ED coming to bring you the news. What's going on, party people?
What's going on, Eric?
Yo, y'all not gonna believe this. I got 3 news topics for you today. Y'all know how they do that pay it forward type thing in the fast food line, right?
Right?
Have y'all ever done that before?
Yes.
Yeah, some
Yes.
of you have.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was this kid who all he wanted was 3 sausage and egg and cheese biscuits. So 8 a.m. in the morning, he going through the Bojangles line, and as he approaching the drive-through, this lady in this black Buick come and try and cut him off and get in front of him. So he like, "Daggone, bit hungry. It's enough food to go around." So what happens is, once he got to the front, he said the lady in front of him paid for his meal. So he was like, "Oh, okay." He said, but she ain't had to do that. She said, he was like, "I ain't never had enough money myself to pay for my own meal, but I appreciate it." So the lady said, "So do you want to pay it forward for the person behind you?" He was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, say what? You want me to pay for somebody behind me?" And he was like, he wasn't gonna do it, but he said, "Okay, how much was it? How much is it?" He said, $45. He said, I ain't doing that. He said, if God would have told me to do it, he would have told me so. He said, God ain't telling me to do that. He said, I ain't coming to feed the 5,000. So I thought maybe that was hilarious. He said, but I appreciate Bit Hungry for paying for my free food. He said, but I ain't doing nothing for the person behind me.
No.
So he got 1 million likes. He got 1 million likes and about 3,000 comments on that video. It's a video out there on that. But anyway,
check that out.
I thought maybe that was funny. So, second topic, y'all know about the football player that had a cardiac arrest. You know, thank goodness. You know, he was sitting up, Damar Hamlin. He was sitting up today watching the game, you know, with his number 3 on, holding up the I love me sign. And for all those that said the prayer for him, you know, that's a time where everybody comes together. People don't know it, but God has a way of bringing organization and people together. And sometimes it seems like it may be through a tragedy. or through a storm, whatever case may be. Whatever how it is for us to come together, let his will be done. So it's good to see my brother sitting up watching the game. So
No doubt. No doubt.
kudos to all the prayer that went out for him. Third but not least, y'all know Keke Palmer, right? Keke Palmer, the actor and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, y'all know she's pregnant and so forth. And guess what? She found the solution for a cure for acne. And the cure for acne, what she found out, she said, let me tell y'all something. The cure is get pregnant. She said ever since she been pregnant, the first time ever, her face ain't never been this clear before. She said, and for that, she gonna stay pregnant for the rest of her life.
Yeah, right.
Some people have the adverse effect. Some people break out a lot.
They do. Yeah. Some people face break out. Some people clear up.
Yeah,
right.
I sent Anthony a photo of her face or whatnot, but he probably got it late, so I apologize for that, for the photos not being up. But her face really is clear. She said she normally have bumps above the surface, but she said it's laid out and it's clean, and she love being pregnant now because she ain't got to face the acne. So, but this is your boy coming to bring you the hot topics. If you want to clear up some things in your life, just get pregnant.
Nah.
Back to you, Anthony.
Ladies, y'all got some beautiful skin.
I just go get some.
I already got that.
Hey, God said don't eat of the forbidden fruit, but he said multiply this earth. So that might be a way to clean up some things.
Mm-hmm. Yep, take one money out of pocket. His own thing is cleaning up.
I'm good.
That might be his underlying message.
Oh Lord.
Right. All right, here we go, guys. Interesting subject. You know, what's the guy with Twitch, the DJ?
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago that had committed suicide. And you know, it's like ever since then there's been a lot more of it. So I want to talk about that because it just seems like it just keeps coming up and stuff in the news. So I found an article, and it said that it said black men are even more likely than white men to endorse aspects of traditional masculine ideology, such as a need to be tough and in control to avoid emotional expression. But what do y'all think about that? And it also said that black men are more likely to suffer depression because of the upbringing, the different tasks that you know they might go through, you know, in the daily life. So, and guys, you know, what's some things you guys kind of experience that you think you know would contribute?
I'm trying not to talk on. Be the first one today. So let somebody's got something.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Houston.
No, I mean, just speaking from the heart, I can see how just men in general, but yeah, I can see how black men, we can have a lot of issues as far as just trying to make it day to day. A lot of people, you know, a lot of men may not be with their kids or whatever choices they made. Sometimes they may be trying to get themselves together, and then there may be other issues as far as the baby's mom, or other issues that he had before that. So if he's trying to get his life together and things keep pulling him down or make him frustrated, I can see how he could get, you know, depressed. I can see how issues could happen.
Right.
You know, and just think about it. I do this with some guys at work. You know, we're trying to remember so many things. I don't know how you guys are at work, but it seems like you have to multitask. Whether you're answering a call or somebody's coming to ask you a question about something, you got email, then you get into your phone, then you're gonna get a message about you got a bill coming up. You know, what's your account number? What's your social security number? You know, you got a lot of stuff going on in your head.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, you have to be the strong one, or that's what a woman wants. You know, that strong man, when you come home, you don't really want to complain about your whole day.
Right. And you know what, too? I think as a black man, I think we all have the same struggle. We all have the same challenges. You know, police brutality or just mistreatment by policemen or racism or issues with fathers or issue with, you know, females. So throughout the daily basis, and when we walk out the door, there's a lot of things that we have to really watch out for. You know, we could easily get into a bad situation off of us trying to prove our point, or you know, and I just think that's bad because you know I don't think women really understand that how much we actually go through, especially when it's trying to do right. We have to worry about a lot. We got to watch stuff for policemen, you know, because even just that's always been, you know, the case. So what do you guys feel about that?
Just to speak from a female perspective, I think that Black men have a very unique experience in this country. I think that systematically and structurally, you know, in terms of systematic racism and the way structures are set up in this country that don't necessarily work in hand for a black man to be successful. I think it brings another level of complexity to the things that you guys are talking about, which is just everyday stuff. So I think that one thing that I definitely want to, and I try to appreciate, is the perspective of a black man, because I'm not a man. I'm a black woman, but I'm not a black man. But raising two sons, I think it's important for me to understand that unique perspective. So I think that's something that we need to acknowledge.
And getting help. You know, we can be strong, but you gotta get help. There's nothing wrong with that. And going to see a counselor or having a good network of friends that can at least be honest with you when they like, yo, dog, something you acting different, or help you along the way, you know, with stuff.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what you just said, Houston. We were, most black men were never guided or taught the things we were supposed to actually know growing up and how to be. So I think it's hard for black men to look for help or look for guidance because we've never had it. We don't know what it's even like. And when someone says to you, go get it, we look like, yeah, right. No, I've been doing this whole time. Why do it? And plus, I think men are scared. Men are scared to open up to someone they don't know, or even try to take on the guidance, depending on how old you are. You know what I mean? Once you get old enough to where you've never really had that guidance, you're always like a brick wall towards it. Like, nah, I'm all set. I'm all set. I've gotten through all my trials and tribulations before. When it comes up, I can do it again. So I'm really not looking for any guidance or anybody, like, when we really do need that.
Right.
So just to piggyback off of what he just said, I think, again, just recognizing that mental health is real. And I think for so many of us, we don't do that. And when I say us, I'm talking about our black men.
I got it.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off what you guys saying, and Jimmy said something along the lines, being told to go get it. Well, what does that go get it looks like? It's kind of like somebody saying go vote. Well, what does go vote look like if you don't do the homework to figure out why you're voting? A lot of people say go vote, but you don't hear too many people trying to put out there, you know, different sites on how to learn about the different people who you are voting for. And I'm quite sure we heard the terminology man up.
Right.
Where man up is not the answer. You know, I used to tell my boys that when I first became a father, hey, stop crying. What you doing crying? Now I cry more than I cry just watching commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta
carry old age.
I gotta carry a piece of napkin in my pocket because I'm always crying because I have a feeling, have a passion for people, and it's a lot of pressure. I'm quite sure. And one movie that remind me of a lot of pressure, that movie called John Q.
Right.
When their son, needed a heart transplant, and she was on the phone talking to Denzel, saying, "Hey,
Fix it.
whatever it
Do
takes.
something.
You know, do something. Do something. Pretty much. Don't come home until you get it done.
Right.
So it's a lot of pressure, and he had to worry about work, how to get money, how to do this, and coming into the reality of today, you know, it's a lot of pressure that is built on. I'm quite sure black women, so forth and so on, but we're talking about black men today. It's more pressure because we are the providers,
Or
and
at
then
least
we're supposed to be, and
Yeah.
we're considered less of a person if we don't provide.
Right, and I read an article that really contributed to that. They were saying that really financial and economic challenges, because most black women are making more money, so they put the man in a different position, and sometimes puts a woman in a different position too. But that's another layer that, you know, not feeling like you're good enough, you know, because school is not for everybody. It's just not. So you don't need to go if it's not something you love to do.
I think in a situation of a man that knows he's supposed to provide and has that in him, a man to be a man, what kind of tears his mind and mentals apart. What tears his mind and mentals apart is relating with a woman that is making more, has the confidence of a man, and you know what I mean. And the one that goes around like, I make this money, I can do whatever. If he was around a woman that has that confidence and it really doesn't need him, there's no need for a man to be around that, you know, that type of woman. If you know what I mean, because it does affect a man that wants to provide. If a woman's acting that towards him. So that's just one level. My bad.
Right. So let me ask you this, ladies. How do you feel? I'm sorry,
What Jimmy was
trying to
saying
say
at
something,
first,
but he
you know.
keep freezing.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Can
You
y'all
go
hear
in
me?
and out.
You're freezing.
You're delayed.
Can y'all hear me?
There's a delay.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking it was y'all, but it must be me. But
it's
anyway,
you.
what I was gonna say was most like what Jimmy was saying about the black man, you know, not
Yeah, lost you again.
hold up.
All right.
Pull your antenna out. You get more.
We got now. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pull your antenna out. You get more.
All right.
distance.
So yo, like I was.
You start again.
Hear me?
Now can.
You're going in and
Okay,
out.
no, I just went. I've been
you're
telling
connecting
you
a lot.
it really works. Nah, but realistically,
Not realistically.
just go ahead. Y'all do what y'all do.
We're gonna need sign language.
What question were you going to ask the ladies,
Yeah,
Anthony?
that's what I was about to say too.
What
So yeah.
What questions
We'll
were
come
you
back
going
to
to
you,
ask the
brother.
ladies?
And come out and come back in. See if it make a difference. All right.
But yeah, we know
So-
mental health. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say we know. I'm not gonna say we know, but mental health is real. A lot of people are dealing with it, but they don't try to find help. And like you just said, maybe they don't know how to get the help. But we've got to. If you see something going on, we've got to try to help people.
Right.
But a lot of times we keep it hidden because I really thought Stitch was good.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, you see, he's dancing, he's joking. He had a beautiful wife, had kids. I don't know how true it was that he made an investment that he lost it all, and he couldn't deal with the fact of that. You know, I don't know how true that is, but once
Right.
again, finance can cause that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Losing
really
it all,
can.
you had that notoriety, and then you lose it all, and it tears a lot of people down.
Yeah. And sometimes it has nothing to do with losing it all either. You know,
Yeah,
having
that was
notoriety.
just an example.
I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I think I experienced that before myself.
How many of you fellas, damn, I had it right. You go ahead, I gotta remember, I had it right at the tip of my tongue. You go ahead.
Well, I was
So-
going to say that in terms of mental health, I think people in general have to start considering their mental health as important as their physical health.
Right.
The things that happen in our mind that we cannot see, we can't call, and even if you don't notice that you can't identify, I think we all know when something's not right. If we wake up angry every day, if we feel like, and in the case of males, if you feel like, wait a minute, I'm being beat up everywhere I go, right? Figuratively. I go to work and they don't like what I do. I go home, I can't find peace. I talk to my family. They don't have anything to do with me. At some point you have to say, you know what? I think I need to stop being so independent, right? Like interdependence is what I say. We don't have to do it all by ourselves. That's male or female. It is wisdom. And I'll say again, it's wisdom when you know when to stop and ask for assistance. It is foolish for you to continue to be operating under where you should be.
Come on, Bill, you preaching.
But it's wisdom, because sometimes the man is going to be weak, right? And the woman may be strong, and vice versa. Interdependence says that when you don't have it, I got it. If we don't have it, we're going to go find it, right? And so when we start thinking about ourselves as a unit instead of individual beings, then the man doesn't have to feel like he has to take it all, right? I think, like you said earlier, men will talk, don't cry, but I think everybody needs to cry. Crying is our natural way to release. And so the more you cry, the more you get it out physically.
And if you're dealing with people in your life that looks upon that, oh, look at him, he crying, looking like a little bee over there. I swear that man, you really need to find out. You really need to look at doing something different.
Absolutely.
Because if you're dealing with someone, and I'm not saying just female, but even with a man, if you're dealing with someone and you're going through stuff and they want to start throwing insults at you, you being a bee, you don't make no sense over there crying either because she leaving or either because she's saying something to you. I run this, I make this money. Your little money ain't used for nothing, no way. If you deal with someone like that, that's gonna cause some mental stuff with you.
Right.
And you might have to look at doing something different. You might have to downsize and get you a little 1-bedroom by yourself.
Yes.
And that's okay. And that's what we have to let men know. It's okay that if you got to change and drop some things and start from scratch. And like a lot of us say, and go back to the source. For me, which is God. For someone else, it may be something different, but you got to find that source.
That's the other piece I was going to say. There has to be something within us that keeps us going, because you can lose it all, right? You can lose the money, you can lose the lover, you can lose the house, you can lose the job. And if all your value and hope were in those things, then you are going to be distraught. But when you have the inner, for me too, it's God. When you have the inner, regardless if there's all hell breaking loose or you lose everything, you understand who the source is. So just like he took away, he can give again. So I think it's important with mental health is to have spiritual health, that they go hand in hand. That your spirit is going to feed your mind and your heart, and then hopefully it's going to direct your actions. But you have to stay rooted, and rooted is not, as we all know, if we only ate on Sundays, like physically ate on Sundays, we wouldn't be as alert, as attractive, as healthy as we are. You have to eat every day, and the same thing spiritually. You can't just wait to Sunday or Wednesday or Tuesday night. You're going to have to be feeding yourself every day so that you can recognize, wait a minute, this is not all good right now. I need
and talk to your friends and family. Talk to your friends and
the
family.
ones you can trust. The ones you can trust. So
the ones you can trust.
The safe space. The people who create safe space, who's not going to hold it against you 10 years from now. Remember the time I loaned you that $100,000? Those type things. You want somebody who has the honor to be able to receive it and to help guide you. Because yes, we do need, it goes back to interdependence. We need each other, but it has to be people that you can trust, not people who are devils in disguise.
And we got to change things ourselves too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm not saying that we put ourselves in that depression.
That's right.
But we make choices and decisions to put us in certain situations.
That's true.
So you put yourself in a mental situation because you wanted this Lexus truck 2020 or 2022 when you only had a bank account enough for a used car.
Yes.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to say this real quick. That's also an underlying problem, because being that most black women get education, making more money, but that guy's not, it put him in a position of, she wants to live a lifestyle. And when it said provide, God meant provide the necessary needs. So you got a house. No, it's not just having a house. You want to have the biggest house because you got the money. They're put him in a position of, okay, can I afford this? And he could be trying, but he might not be able to go to college and make that type of money. And depending on the type of female and how she treats him, it says a lot about how he feels and how he come out of that.
Absolutely.
I'm with you completely. But what I'm starting, and I hear what you're saying about a lot of females will make more money. In some cases they are, but I'm starting to find out, and there's plenty of research. There's a lot of men and women both that got degrees and masters, but still ain't making but 45, 50,000. So
Yes.
you know, it ain't necessarily like they make more money. They may have more degrees, but the statistics show they're not really making necessarily more money.
Right. But
So
let me ask.
right?
Can I ask this? Do you really think in this era of time, and I know some people do struggle with money, that money is the issue in a lot of relationships? Is it money now? Being that both parties in most cases are making money, is money?
It's always.
I think it's in the top 3 calls. It's not.
It's in the top 2.
three.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
it's
wait.
in the top. Yeah, it's in the top 3.
Well, hold on, Eric. Eric, explain it again. That last part you said. If both of them are making money,
Both of them are making money.
is money the
Because
issue?
we talked about how women are making a lot of money and men are still making money, just that a lot of women are making more money. Is money the cause of a lot of relationships going south now
No.
in this
No.
era? And
I don't think if both parties are making money, I don't think it's the money. It's the attitude and the respect of the person.
Right.
Because it shouldn't be you both making money. You should be on the same level of what your responsibilities are with that money if you're in a relationship together, and not let that divide you.
And sometimes money changes people too.
You know what?
Actually, I do have to say that I don't think money
I don't know if
changes
money
you.
change people.
Money makes you who you are.
Bingo.
Money makes you
It exposes them.
more of
It
who you are.
exposes who you are.
Expose you who you really are.
It exposes who you are. Yes.
Yeah, it exposes who you are. To me, I mean, if you and I, you know, any of the ladies on the panel, and if you and I were together and we were married, and we had a household income of 150,000, we good.
Right.
We good.
Right.
But
That's right.
it's not looked at it that way. If he's making 50,000 and she's making 100, most people look at it like he ain't doing nothing. Because really, lady, I'm gonna just say from a male perspective, what causes us a mental issue sometimes, your money never really comes into play.
To be honest, that's not really the problem. The problem is it be the onlookers or the outside people talking that create the problem when the money is being made like that. Sometimes the lady can be the breadwinner and she don't have a problem with that. It's when she go to the beauty salon, when she go to the nail shop, when she show up at the church, that creates the problem. It's not even that she makes the most money. Once they get in her head space, once they start
you can do better than that.
and antagonizing her mental capacity, that's what creates the problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
I
lot, man.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. I was gonna say it all boils down to what a person value, what they value the most. If you value money and materialistic things the most, above a person's character and the relationship itself between the two people, then that's when you're gonna have an issue with money and materialistic stuff. And we have to learn how to get rid of the wrong mindset and get rid of just get a new thought process, because it's a lot of things in the Black community that we have been saying over the years, that people have been saying that we believe, and we have to learn how to quiet the voices. We got to get new mindsets. And until we do that, like it's gonna be a constant cycle of foolishness.
I like that
Within
one.
the center of the relationships, right?
That's a good point.
I want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Within the center of the relationship, sometimes even though we making the money, are we doing what's necessary to bring the other party up? Or is the person that's making the money, are they trying to equip you to grow to where you can become greater or stronger, to rise above the occasion so y'all can meet in the same place and grow together? You
Right.
know, sometimes it's necessary for one party to make less money because they can take care of and handle other things that's necessary within the home or within the family. But that has to be something that's agreed upon.
Right. But then that person may not want to. And I think if you're going to be with that person, you have to be okay with them not wanting to, because that may not be something they desire.
That's true.
Just like
That's why I
earlier,
said it has
Anthony
to be
said,
agreed
no,
upon.
every
Yeah.
school is not for everybody. And that's the
That's right.
thing. Like, they may not want to go to college, but they may have a gift that God has given them that they can use to bring in more money. You can always make more money, but building a character, building something solid, building who you are as a person, that's where your foundation is going to come from. That's going to determine how you deal with mental issues and how you deal with people.
Right.
That's going to be the foundation, not materialistic things and money.
Right.
That's
right.
true.
I guess
That was
Like
the main sense.
earlier,
But
Jimmy
I
was talking
think-
about
Yes,
not
the
being
question
trained or taught.
You're right.
Yeah.
I
But
think
that's-
Mr.
I guess-
Church brings up a good point, though, in terms of what you agree upon. So although I agree with everything Kimberly is saying, that is speaking to someone's character, their principles, their morals. But if two people are coming together and they can't meet eye to eye on those things, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So I think when you make partnership with someone, there has to be a level of understanding on how they relate to self, right?
Right.
Because the show is about mental health, and
Mental
I
health.
think the reason why people are struggling so much is because they don't build the inner. We spend all this time building the outer. The money
Right.
buys the outer. Money is
Mhm.
important because at the end of the day, I have a mortgage to pay, I have a car note to pay, I have children to feed. So I'm not going to act like money is not important. The Bible says money solves problems, and it really does.
Money
But-
answers all things.
Answers all
Yeah.
things, depending on the which Bible you read. It answers problems, but you get the point. I think it's important that even with your mental health, who you're connected to. Bae said something really good. She said, reaching out to family, but what family? Who you reach out to?
Right.
Right.
So I think of your family is your partner who you connect with. And a lot of times we're not connecting ourselves with people who are even connected to our mental health, or our mental health is important to them.
And
I-
Just a
I-
quick question before we move forward is dealing with this Black mental health issue. How can we, ladies, mostly recognize it? Because we're saying what we need to do as men, go get help, but for our partner having in a relationship, how can you recognize it, and what can you do to help that man?
That's so important. I think that's why I started off the show talking about my sons, because I get to love Black men in a whole different way. Because as a mother, I'm the oldest of 6 and I have 5 brothers. I have no sisters. I identify with men more than I identify with women. But being the mother, I was mother-like to my brothers. But being a mother to 2 Black boys, you're right. I strive and I even struggle. I strive and I struggle to connect with them on certain levels, because my sons are so different, and I see them struggling with their mental health. I
Is he
see
talking
them
to church?
dealing with things.
Is he talking
What
to
was
church?
that?
I'm making a joke that you're talking to church, but you face
Yeah,
that
the way you're looking like you're looking at
Now, hey, look, I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
say something though. All right,
Where's your
check
camera?
this out, right?
Y'all know that's my baby.
on Proverbs 22 and
Oh, I
6,
have
it
2
says,
screens. This is
train up a
one.
child
Yeah,
in the way
we
that
don't
they
see
should
that
go.
part of you. We don't see your eyes.
There you
And
go.
when they are older,
Hey.
they will not depart from
I'm
it.
always
Right?
looking at
Then-
this screen. I'm sorry.
Oh Lord.
1 Corinthians 3 and 6 says, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I did as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. First of all, if you really want to be great, you're gonna get the training. You're gonna do whatever's necessary. Just like on the mute when you was talking about John Q. You're gonna do whatever's necessary to get to where you want to be. You're gonna scribe. You're gonna deal with. You're gonna do. Like, let me tell y'all something. I grew up with a mama with a 3rd grade education. I wasn't even educated. I sold drugs as a kid. I started selling drugs at 12. I got educated in prison, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that if you don't want it, it's not out there. Even with mental health, like dealing with, I've dealt with it all. I've struggled. I dealt with police. I dealt with the manipulation of the people from the community because I wanted to be great, and still dealing with some of it now because I want to be better. I want to do better. I want my family to be better. People will manipulate who you are simply because you want to be better than who you were. So you have to be careful with that. When I was a child, it aggravated, it manipulated me. It messed up my structure and the foundation that I was built on. But when I realized who I was and how I was trained and who I wanted to become, I shook myself. And I said, hey, these people are not for me, so I need to do what I have to do to provide for my family and to provide for the people that are around me. You know, I was just in an environment last night with some ladies, right? And it was a situation going on, and my granddaughter came into the equation. And what happened is the ladies had been somewhere for a great amount of time. And guess what? They were probably trained, but they did not do what was necessary as ladies to show that they were true women. So I use the example, and I don't want to go into detail because I don't really know who's watching. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But I used it as a teachable moment for my granddaughter. It was just like, I basically explained to her, this is what you do not do. You know, because for the simple fact that you are a lady, you do carry whatever's necessary as a lady, no matter where you go. You handle your handle. You know, and my wife was like, wow, you concerned about that? I'm the grandmother, I'm supposed to be teaching. No, I teach that because it's necessary. Like right now, even going out to dinner, you don't just let a man just take you anywhere. You understand? And sometimes as women, we dumb down because we're saying, hey, he might be decent, he taking me out. Nah, you show me the best, you give me the best. It's just like this. When you show up to church, we was taught you come to the house of God with your best. You understand what I'm saying? So guess what? When you take a lady out, you give her your best. If you can't even buy a rose, you bring a tulip, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Like, whatever's necessary, you do it, man. You got to make it happen.
Right, quick.
All right, wait a minute. We're going to start with each one of you guys. Let's do a 20-second close. So what's your last thing you want to say? Let's start with Kimberly.
I just kind of want to answer Eric's question that he asked about how can women help the men in a relationship? And I was gonna say, just paying attention. When you have a close relationship and a connection with a person, you know when a shift has happened, and to be able to have constant conversation, take some time out to carve out conversation time to talk to the person. And for me, in my relationships, or even with my son, it's a must that we have communication and talk. How are you feeling? What's going on? We hug daily. We have open conversation, and we also have, it's a safe space. I believe in that. So that's how I would help.
Cool. All right, B.
Yeah, and I was going to address his question too, to say that I think we have to start learning to hold space for folk, especially for Black men, since we know they already have it harder than a whole bunch of other groups. And holding space means being there to listen, offering help with no agenda, no hidden, no strings attached, nothing like that you're going to hold over them. That sometimes people just need a shoulder and an ear, or that you may have connections where they can go see somebody professionally. But I think it's going to be being attentive and not being more, giving them more of that whole beat you up stuff.
Cool. Okay. Here, what you got? 20 seconds.
Sometimes it's about, sometimes you need to share your story. Sharing your story kind of helps talk it out of you, just like crying. Get it out of you so that people can see how real you are. And this is going to be the first time that I'm about to say this. I'm going through a divorce right now. But, even being a godly man, and Anthony, man, I stay positive. I always try to smile. I always try to encourage people. I went to the basketball court and bought 8 kids basketball shoes. I'm always trying to find a way to encourage people. And sometimes it hurts, you know, when you put in so much into a marriage. And I'm not downsizing her or whatnot, because I still love my wife. I still believe there's hope. And I always wear my ring because I believe I'm married to the end. Whatever she may want, you know, I have to give it to her. But, you know, I go through some things myself, but I try to find, you know, other means like golf, find God, singing songs, doing for others. And that's what uplifts me, is when I do things for other people, because I know God's in turn going to do something for me.
Right. Church, what you got?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, to be totally honest, when it comes down to Black men and mental health, sometimes you have to go to the root of the problem. You know, you have to look at your foundation, your background, how you was raised, what you went through, what you dealt with, and you have to start from the beginning to figure out who you really are and what you need to do to dissect who you were and who you want to become. And when you work from the beginning to where you are, you can become greater.
Cool. I like that. Sherry, what you got?
Can you guys hear me? Because my screen
Yeah.
is doing all kind of funny stuff.
We can hear you though.
Can you hear me? I'm in agreement with everything that everyone said before me. You guys hit it right on the hit it right on the nail. But one that really resonated with me was Eric's, and I think that just listening to him, it's a reminder that mental health is a self journey and a level of accountability that you have to self. And yeah, it's good when your mama love you, it's good when your wife love you, your family, your children, everyone, but you have to love you. And I hope that, you know, as we evolve as a people, that mental health, you know, is at the top of the conversation, and we get more and more comfortable with it, and it encourages others to go on that journey, because it's not important, and to make it important. So I thank Eric for his being so open and sharing. My prayers out to you, and just for anyone that's dealing with, because I know, you know, I've been dealing with a lot in the last couple of weeks with this end of year, with so much death and things happening in my family. And if I didn't have the ground that I have, my mental health could be all over the place. And I'm so grateful that I'm centered. So I understand why people find themselves in a place that they're lost. But all of you guys made amazing points, and I'm in agreement with everyone that spoke before me.
Okay, Houston.
First, let me say this to Eric. We're here for you.
Absolutely.
Period. Because I've been there, done that, and did the same thing. I wore my first divorce. I wore my ring to the end. God gonna fix it, whether He doesn't or not. We got you, and you can talk to us anytime. Because I didn't have that. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it to that.
That's a good ring.
I'm going through hell too, and I want to be honest with you about that. Like for real. Honestly, the preacher going through something, bro. I don't even put it out there, but when you said what you said, I almost went to church, because it's spiritual right now. Like, the enemy is basically in his last days, and he's trying to tear everybody down that has hope and faith, bro. Like, I didn't even really want to go there. You know what I'm saying? Because
but we all need to connect as men.
Absolutely.
Yep, trust me. We all need to connect as men.
Y'all shout it out.
All right, Jim,
call it out.
Yeah, Jim, what's your last remark?
Just what Houston said. We all need to connect as men more. To be honest with you, men need to learn. Well, we need to learn to love ourselves more. To be honest with you, and know what we're worth. A lot of us get compromised and manipulated and pushed off our stool, our 10 toes, 24/7 of the day. So I think we need more guidance from men to stick together, because we know how to keep each other on our 10 toes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we all need to help each other out, love each other more.
And I just want to say to you guys, I think that we should challenge ourselves. Walk up to a brother and say, "Hey, man, I appreciate you," something like that. I think that we really need that, because mentally, it's a lot that's on our minds. Especially for the ones that's trying to do right. And there's a lot of things that it makes it really, 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 really hard. I can tell you the minute between family, what you want to do, your finances, your money, what you want to accomplish by next year, and you have to somehow seem tough out of the situation and don't let nobody see it. Sometimes it's hard, So I think we should just challenge each other, just start speaking to each other, bro. And not only that too, I remember watching Will Smith, and he said that you never know what someone is going through. And I feel like at this time right now, everyone is sort of just so selfish and so on the edge that everybody's only care about themselves. And so I think for the people that's always trying to be nice, we're sick of being nice. We're sick of people picking on you. So it's just that one day it all boils up and you just explode because you're just trying to hold it back. You're trying to be nice. And this world is sad that you can't be nice to people because people take advantage of your niceness.
That's what I'm worried about, Eric.
Hey, and that's heavy, because this year I didn't give out gifts in the community, right? And I felt so bad about it. I came home from prison in 2007. Every year since 2007, I have given gifts to the underprivileged kids, the poor people, whoever didn't have it. And this year I was so selfish because it wasn't that I didn't have it. It was just, I looked at the parents that could get a job, that could do better, that could create a better life for their kids, and they chose not to. This year, I didn't give out the gifts. And I felt bad at first, and God began to deal with me. Sometimes you have to be selfish to help others become greater.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
And listen, I'm gonna say something to you. Y'all said something about Eric. I'm gonna tell you something. Eric, I want to thank you, man, for being a strong brother, because now I see how it's done. Because I don't know how you do it, to be honest with you. I mean, there's times when you encourage me. So Eric is strong. He always has been like that. And sometimes I come like, how do you do it? Like, that's where I need to be. So you show me growth. That's where I need to be.
But Eric, you don't have to be. That's the thing. Because I did that. I smiled. I was doing interviews. But when I get by myself, it'll tear you up. So have someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
No, don't get me wrong. I do, and I thank you all for you saying that. I don't fake it. This has always been me.
Right.
I give whatever I go through. A lot of times we look at trials and tribulation as it's supposed to be something negative. God told us in the beginning that there were going to be trials and tribulation. So therefore, I'm ready when they come.
Come on,
so
now.
I can prepare myself once they do come. So when my wife told me she wanted to leave me, to this day, I told her, baby, I still love you, and I'm gonna tell her until the papers are final that I still love you, and I'll forgive you for anything that you ever done to me. But God said, if someone wants to leave, let them leave.
Yes.
So I understand that a person can't give you joy. God, that joy has to come from God.
Yes.
So that's where I keep my joy. Yes, I'm going through. Yes, I don't like divorce. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it for the long haul. But if they have to leave me, I will be all right.
Come on now.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you guys. You got the velvet letter. Let's move on.
All right.
Second here.
Sitting for male and female. People just like you and me. The velvet letter. The velvet letter. The velvet letter. Somebody that juicy, hot,
So today's velvet letter actually ties into our topic today.
All right.
It's kind of long. Hey, Velvet Room. I met
Got
an
my
amazing man last summer at a 4th of July cookout. He is a kind, considerate, patient, and protective, yet gentle giant. Our individual morals, values, and goals align with what the both of us desire from our future spouse. He's literally everything I imagined and more. The past month, I've noticed some distance. I asked him about the change. He briefly mentioned he was stressed about a situation, but no other details were given. We would get together almost every weekend. Lately, he says he can't due to a new side gig. I'm trying to be sensitive and give him space to deal with the situation. I recently expressed how much I miss spending time with him. As a compromise, he agreed we could get dinner together at his place and a movie. He said he would cook, but after much persuasion, he allowed me to pick up food from his favorite restaurant. Shortly after I arrived at his place, the lights went out. We looked out the door to see if it was an outage in his area, but everyone around him seemed to have power. Embarrassment and frustration spread all over his face as he went to look for some candles. After he returned, I immediately hugged him. I asked him to sit down so we could talk. I told him it was time to be completely honest and asked him to open up about what was going on. He explained that he was laid off from his job shortly before Halloween. He was having difficulty finding something else. He was doing various jobs to make ends meet and just exhausted what he had saved up. He said he's been really depressed about his financial situation. He didn't want me to see him like that, so he pulled back. He mentioned he applied to various services and asked family for assistance, but no one could help. I offered assistance, but he was adamant he could not accept it. I mean, I get it. Most men are not willing to accept money from their significant other. Even those who eventually give in do so reluctantly after exhausting all options. Since this revelation, I try to speak to him every chance I get. I try to assure him on that evening that it didn't change my feelings for him. I told him I understood it was out of his control and I was willing to see him through this. My question is to the men on this panel. Outside of praying, how can I properly support him during this difficult time? Should I offer financial assistance again or respect his wishes? Yeah.
That's a hard one.
How can you help them if you know how to cook? The reason why I said that, I mean, the simplest things. Hey, babe,
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring something over.
Right.
That makes a difference to him to release his mind.
Go pay his bill.
So he won't have to worry about that little part. Little things can help, and being there. And whatever it is that he's good at or he does, you might help look for something. You know, just help look for something and help him get on his feet. But I respect him. He didn't want to take the money. I get it, because it's a hard situation for a man to be in. And two, you don't want to ever use, not that she would, but in the back of his mind, I know I would. I don't want to ever get on my feet. We're together. Something go down and you mad and fussing at me and you're throwing this back in my face. Not saying that she would, but for a man, sometimes you kind of have that in the back of your mind a little bit.
Right.
But doing little things for him, making sure that he's fed if you can. Just like, hey, I got some extra. Come on over here and get some. Or gas in his car, you know.
Encourage, don't discourage.
Yeah. Encourage.
And I'm gonna tell you, one way to reach a person, and instead of trying to say things to put it out, sometimes you got to find the right atmosphere. You got to have the right conversation, and they'll pour themselves out to you on what they really need.
It's about listening.
Yeah, but you have to find the right atmosphere. You can't be too tactful trying to bring it out. You got to let them open up to you.
Right.
And that takes skill to be able to do that.
Right.
Honestly, 90% of the time, women become nurturers because women are nurturers by nature.
True.
So what happens is they begin to take on the mother role, and instead of assisting the man on the level that they really need it, they start taking care of, and then the man becomes the burden as opposed to you being the help me. In other words, I believe you should network, figure out what his feel is, see where he wants to help at. see where he wants to assist in that. Because sometimes women can be overbearing because they take on the mother or the nurturer role because they have had kids already and different things of that nature. So you got to be very careful about that because women can be overbearing.
He wants to find his own way.
Their man.
Yeah.
And I would say, but when we just talked about mental health, is that a wise thing? I mean, somebody said it's pride, and I that's what I would say, pride too, and fear, right? But is that aiding our mental health when we do things like that, or putting us deeper into that hole? Because I think, I hear people saying these great ideas, but pride and fear will keep, it'll keep you from your blessing.
Right. But don't you think it's still in line? Because that could mean that he's trying to really stay strong and really just do it himself. Not necessarily he don't want the help, but he want to not be to depend on somebody else.
But you got to understand, it's not going to work until you find your own way anyway. Right. The Bible says in Proverbs 16:18, pride goeth before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. So you got to be careful when you consider pride to be a part of the equation, because if you're open-minded, sometimes you have to be in a position where you can see the help that's available to you. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes
that's a blessing. That's truly a blessing. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not available to see the help because of what we're dealing with mentally. So the enemy is attacking and making us feel like we don't need the help or we don't deserve the help. When guess what? I'm gonna tell you something, right? That was very profound with me. Right. Okay, I was a 3-time loser. I went to prison, right? When I came home from prison, I had been saved for a few years. And my cousin, he grew up in the church, but he wasn't in the church. He was smoking his weed, living his life, and all of that stuff. And it's a lesson in this, right? So when I came home from prison, my record is like a Bible. So I was like, when I got my criminal background checked back and I had filled out for a job, I said, man, with a criminal background like this, I might as well keep selling drugs. Ain't nobody gonna hire me like this. My cousin looked at me and said, you said you saved, right? You said you live for God. Give it a shot. Call the people. See what they gonna say. Like right now, sometimes we need women in our lives and people in our lives to encourage us and motivate us and make us feel like we're somebody, even though we've made mistakes, even though things aren't working right, even though life is messed up for us at the moment. In other words, I just need you to motivate me, push me, encourage me, feel me, impel me. Let me know that there is help even in the midst of my sorrow or my situation.
Right. And wait a minute. Let me Eric say something real quick. He was trying to get in.
And I just want to say this, and I think I might have talked to someone about this before, but I heard someone say, and we all have prayed about certain things that we wanted when we was going through. We got to be careful what we ask for when we pray. Because when we pray about certain things, God packages it and sends it right away. As soon as we ask God for it, he puts it in the mail. But we don't know when that delivery date is going to come. We have to have discernment with God to know how that help is coming, because it may come in different forms. So we have to be aware on how God's going to send that package that we ask for.
All right.
That's cool. All right, you guys, we're at the end of the day. We're not going to be able to do sex facts, but this was good. We got to do a part 2 eventually. But eventually we got to get to the ladies. You know it's coming. So anyway, hey, it was nice seeing y'all, man. It's been a while.
No doubt. No doubt.
You know, here's a black love. I'm only glad today. Kimberly, where your glass at?
A little bit lemonade.
Kimberly, like, you better be lucky I made it. You're on mute. You're on mute.
We don't want, we want you next week. We want you to be here next week.
I'm still trying to eat my dinner. I ain't even got to the drink yet.
Let's see what you got.
All right, you guys. I will see y'all next week.
Have a wonderful
week.
All right.
Jessica,
all right, y'all.
Y'all stay encouraged. Stay encouraged.
Yes.
Stay in touch, all of you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Have it, everybody.
Hey, E.